Sienna's house is a zoo, as in for real, people pay to see her animals. So one of the fun things that my sister does as a part of her momming is exotic animal encounters. So now we're going to see one of her animal shows. We'll be teaching some kids about animals and keeping her family up to date on their animal knowledge.
Hello everyone, my name is Sienna. These are my friends Kimmy, Kaylee, and Heather. And then I've got my children with me today. I've got little Brennan over there, big Brennan over there, and that little bald beautiful baby is named Donna. So I brought with us some animals to share with you all. The first question is, do these animals bite? Yes, they will bite you. And if you walk up to me or to Kimmy and you touch us on our face or pull our tails, we will bite you too. These animals do live at the house with me and with some of my friends here. This is a lizard that comes from Australia. He's called a blue-tongued skink. He will use his blue tongue to trick predators into thinking he's poisonous. And it's perfect that he has this defense because, as you can see, from his itty-bitty, teeny tiny little legs, he cannot move very fast. This is one of the slowest lizards in the whole world because he's basically a snake with feet and hands. This is called a Sudan plated lizard or a major plated lizard. We call this guy the Grinch because he really doesn't like Christmas. If you look at the Grinch's tail, you'll see it looks different about halfway through. And it looks that way because he broke his tail off. Many lizards have the ability to break off their own tail, and that's how they can defend themselves. And the Grinch would think really, really hard, using just his brain, break off his tail. So his tail would detach, would come apart from his body. It would continue to wiggle for about 5 minutes, and that predator hawk would eat his tail while he has run off to safety. All right, so next lizard we're gonna bring out is Rome. What's their nickname, Ayla?
Pollo del Palo.
The chicken of the trees. And that's because iguanas live in trees and they taste almost as good as chicken. Rome has long fingers and long toes and a very long tail. And she uses those because she spends most of her life in the trees, but she is very clumsy and falls off the trees a lot. And most of the time when she falls off the trees, she falls right into the water. So not only is she a great climber, she is a great swimmer. This is called the Yemen chameleon, or the veiled chameleon. He gets his name from that veil on the top of his head. And that crest and the rest of his body are shaped the way they are because it is his job in life to blend in with the tree and look like a leaf. He also has really cool eyes. His eyes move independently, so he can look at you and at me at the same time. The only time he's looking at the same thing with both eyes is when he's about to eat it. So when he wants to eat something, he will shoot his tongue out. It's the fastest twitch in the animal kingdom. It has a sticky pad at the end, and his tongue is twice as long as his body. So when he sees a fly or a mosquito flying around, he will shoot that tongue out, capture it with that sticky pad at the end of its tongue, and eat it in one bite. Oh, this is a baby dinosaur. We've got the only one in the world. No, he's not a dinosaur, but he thinks he is. This is called a black roughneck monitor lizard. These guys are from Asia. You'll find them in the trees and in the water, and every now and then you'll find them burrowing in the ground when it's really cold because they like it where it's nice and hot. But they can handle pretty much any weather. They're pretty tough little lizards. Or not little lizards, big lizards. He will use his tail as a whip and also as an extra limb, so he'll hold on to me just like this. He's also got these really, really sharp raptor nails, and he has those because he loves to eat lots of meat, like delicious birds. And he doesn't have teeth. He has this ridge-like structure in his mouth. It's very similar to teeth, but in order to get things into bite-sized pieces, he'll actually use his fingernails to chew his food. Kimmy's best friend here. His name is Diego, and he is a Dagu. You'll see that he's got a little bit of fluff at the back of his tail. The softness of this tail shows that he's happy. He'll fluff it out pretty hard to let us know if he gets unhappy. These guys are really, really smart animals, and they like the cold weather. They live in mountainous regions, and they eat pretty much much everything. So what's their nickname?
Pocket mouse.
The pocket mouse. And we can definitely understand why they're called the pocket mouse, because that pocket right there that he's trying to climb into is where Diego spends pretty much all of his time. Sometimes he even likes to use the bathroom in there, which Kimmy really enjoys. This little ball of spikes is called a hedgehog. They don't have quills, they have fur. And that fur is hollow, which means there's nothing in it. So when Sandslash is scared, he will put air into those empty fur and make it really, really sharp and pokey. So it would hurt if you tried to touch him or if you tried to bite into him, which I don't know for experience, but Kaylee sure does. But then when he's feeling comfortable, he'll loosen he'll let the air out of his little fur, and you'll actually be quite soft and pettable. Well, this is our bride and groom. These two were just married last weekend. Her name is Julius Squeezer, but we call her Jules. And she is an albino Burmese python. And this is her husband, Thor, who's called a regular Burmese python. These are both constricting snakes, which means they find something they want to eat, and then they'll wrap around it till it's not alive anymore and eat it in one big bite. They can eat something 3 times the size of their head.
This is Jumbo. She is a Patagonian cavy, just under a year old. These little guys are very cool creatures. They are the 3rd largest rodent in the world, just a little bit smaller than capybaras and beavers. And fully grown, these guys can jump in the air up to 7 feet high without a running start, which makes them very quick runners and very good escape artists.
This is Hodor. Hodor is an African spurred tortoise. So he uses these big spurs on the front of his legs to dig deep, deep holes in the ground called burrows. And he'll burrow down in those holes during the day to stay cool and at night to stay warm. He can dig 60 feet into the ground, but usually that'll take him a couple of weeks because he's pretty slow. The only time he moves fast is also the only time Biko moves fast, which is when there are strawberries around. We're guessing that Hodor is about 15 years old. This type of tortoise can live to be as old as 200 years. However, they average to be about 100 years old, and they get to be about 100 pounds. So since Hodor is about 15, we're guessing that when you guys have kids that are the age y'all are now, they would be able to ride Hodor around like a really, really, really slow pony.
Misogynine per chercher un fait qui t'éloigne. Puis qu'elle me danser, s'amuser dans mes bras. C'est una baby no, I don't go shaking. Una baby no, I don't go acting funny. Elle m'a dit je suis désolé, je peux pas venir ce soir. J'ai vu travers la barque son mari et toutes les lines. C'est una baby no, I don't go shaking. Una baby no, I don't go acting funny. Elle dit je vais rester avec mes amis ce soir, mais ils savaient la vérité que ça les conservait chez moi. Je sais, on a baby no, I don't start shaking honey. On a baby no, I don't go acting funny. Back à la maison, c'est tellement tous arrêtés. Ouais, pour voir tous les messages qui étaient préenvoyés. On a baby no, I don't start shaking honey. On a baby no,